Welcome to your favorite show on development issues, the Chamwada Report. And this time round, the show comes to you right from here in London. And you may be asking, so what are we discussing today? We are looking into driving in London. I've managed to meet two Kenyans who are willing to share their experiences when it comes to driving here in London. And through those experiences, you may be able to compare the behavior among motorists here and motorists in cities like Nairobi, where it is said that adherence to traffic rules is really wanting and impunity is the order of the day. In the first part of this show, George, the first Kenyan I met, will drive us through London, while in the second part of the show, we will hear from Jimmy Odienge, a Kenyan who is facing a ban from driving on London roads after exhausting all his 12 points on the driving license. The show begins right now. Here in London, it can be costly to drive due to high parking charges, congestion charges, and generally penalties that may come with traffic offenses. So many people would rather use the public transport system, which has been described as being reliable, affordable, and efficient. Enforcement of traffic rules here is enhanced by the use of cameras. In fact, in this city, motorists fear the cameras more than traffic police officers. Now in London, that yellow box means a lot. It helps in avoiding congestion. Now, these traffic lights, yes, it may give you the green light, that is green for you to proceed, but you can't proceed until it's clear. The law is you should never be found in that box. If you are found in that box, that is a penalty, because it means stopping in that box, you will be blocking other vehicles that could have had a chance to pass. But the basics first, and you may want to know, can a Kenyan drive here using a Kenyan driving license? George Osore, who has been living here for the last 15 years, explains.
After driving here for 1 year with a Kenyan license, then you are not, after 1 year you can't continue to drive. But I think they have changed that policy in the last two years. If you are coming from Kenya, before you get to the road, you must train afresh, because coming from the problems that these people have observed from foreign drivers, even drivers from Europe, some countries are going through the same system like people from the third world, like Kenya.
So it's because of what they've observed of drivers from abroad. They are not probably disciplined.
That is the point. That's the point, because some drivers, especially most of the drivers from East Europe and drivers from our part of the world, are not disciplined enough to observe these traffic rules keenly. So they have been causing a lot of accidents.
You will rarely encounter police officers on the road, he says, and all will be smooth as long as one is disciplined on the road and road signs are pretty clear.
Here, you see this is a marked bus lane, and this bus lane is marked there on it's from Monday to Friday on only the peak hours, you don't drive on that lane. Now we can drive there if there is any road traffic, heavy traffic. But on those marked lines between 7 and 10 and 4 and 7, you don't drive there at all. If you venture into there at those hours, the speed cameras will pick you up and you'll be penalized. So you always safer to drive off the bus lane. You see this red line on the side of the road. Whatever happens, you are not supposed to park on that unless you are
just stopping for a minute to
you,
for pickup.
You cannot stop or drop anybody. The only person who can stop here is an ambulance. It's an ambulance who can stop here, a police vehicle. But any ordinary car can never stop unless you break down. Double yellow you can stop, but you don't leave the car.
As the driver, you remain in the car?
Yeah, the person getting out can get out, but you don't leave the car at any time if you're double yellow. Or the single yellow, if it is within the given time, you can leave the car on a single yellow, but not all the time. If the traffic allows for the 8 to 5, and there's no heavy traffic for that time, you can leave, you can park using the single lanes or the yellow, but not the double yellow line.
Now onto the cost that comes with driving in the Central Business District, or what is known here as the congestion zone.
The congestion charge, the congestion that, because as we get into CBD now, the city put a restriction of cars getting into the city. So they put that if you are going into the city, you are going to congest the movement of people, the movement of deliveries, the movement of the business people in the city. So they put a charge to it, which they are calling the congestion charge. So if you venture into, you knew you are going into the city, you can either plan to pay for the congestion charge early in advance, because you can pay it for a whole day, or you can pay before midnight of the day. That is when it will be reflective.
A motorist has to part with £15 or about 2,000 Kenya shillings, failure to which you will eventually have to pay a penalty of about £120 or the equivalent of about 17,500 shillings on top of the congestion charge, meaning the total cost of failure to pay the congestion charge is about 20,000 Kenya shillings.
Once they send you you can pay online, because that's what they encourage much more. You can pay online, or you can pay by check, and you send the check to their address, which is there on the line as well. You go to the congestion charge paying fees, Transport for London, congestion charge paying fees.
In Nairobi, parking fee in the CBD is 300 shillings per day, but here it costs a motorist about £4 in most zones, or about 580 shillings per hour, meaning if you park for 10 hours, you will have to part with the equivalent of 5,000 shillings. You may also want to know, can a police officer enter the car of a motorist who has been arrested for a traffic offense?
No, police can never get into your car if you are on the wrong and you are stopped. The police will, by the time they are stopping you, the police will have checked your details of your car, the driver, the insurance. If you automatically they've got a database in their car. So by the time they are stopping you, they have already known that your car is fully insured, the person driving it is who and who, and if there's a mistake on those lines, they would not allow that car to move out of that point. So they can't come in your car. It is you who will be told to join them, and then they take you to the police station. And your car they'll organize how it can be towed from that point. If it is a penalty, which they can give you a ticket there and then, they'll take you to their car, write for you the receipt, there's a place for you to sign, then they let you go. And the receipt will give you the days to pay the penalty. If it is within the month, within the 2 weeks, then you go and pay the penalty.
Now, here in London, no one is above the law, be it the Prime Minister, a minister, or even the traffic police officers themselves. And a police officer will tell you this: it is not a must that you drive, but if you must drive, then you must follow traffic rules.
No one is above the law here. Last year, we had a minister who was who drove his car past the speed limit. And when he was caught, because the license, the car was insured in both him and his wife's name. When he was caught by the camera and he got the license, he got the penalty, he tried to cheat by going to court and saying, oh, it was not him driving, it was his wife driving. And it happened that during that time, his wife could not defend him because they had some issues. You see, like this is what I was telling you. We are on the green, and there's no space for me to move. So for me, that guy has created space. I'm still on green. I can move now. So this minister, the case dragged for a long time. Through the investigations, the camera was checked more than once. It was arraigned to court. His wife, they had some differences. His wife said she was not the one driving. And because of that lying to the court, he had to resign. And he lost his job. He was a minister for housing here. And you can see the repercussions of what traffic offense can cause to anybody. It can be me, it can be a foreigner who is like me staying here, a minister, prime minister, a policeman, anybody. The law is not segregated to a class or to some given individuals.
You are watching Driving in London, the experiences of Kenyans have met here. We now take a short break. When we return, we will hear from a Kenyan who has caught himself on the wrong side of the law and is likely to be banned from driving here for a while. We will tell you why, and don't go away.